That's the concert hall in a jazz configuration. An art gallery as well, 2 art galleries, people having a nice time. More people having a nice time. I say that as if I take it for granted. We really had to work very hard indeed to make the public spaces in the art centre somewhere where people liked coming. Most of the time, for the first 7 or 8 years that I was there, audiences said only one thing to me. They said, "We can't find our way around." I said, "But don't you like it when you're there?" "Oh yes, we love it when we're there, but we can't find our way around." So we had to do something about it. One of the lessons is, if you don't already know, audiences are inconvenient, but if you don't listen to them, you won't have them. And it's very easy to get impatient with audiences, but if you don't address their concerns, then you are in deep, deep trouble. And we worked very, very hard to make the place somewhere where people wanted to come to, even on top of, in addition to, the artistic experience. Somebody has bought a picture. And that is the entrance. There's more people having a nice time. You don't need to see that. Let's leave that there. I hope that gives you some idea of the facility. And apart from the theatre and the concert hall, 3 cinemas, 2 art galleries, conference suites, catering, cafes, restaurants, bars, car parks, that's all on one site. It was expensive, very expensive. £150 million in 1982 prices. If anybody had known how expensive it was really going to be, they would never have built it. But fortunately, they'd started before it became apparent how expensive it was going to be. Who paid for it? Well, the City of London. For those who don't know, and this is one of those really irritating English things, the City of London is not the City of London. The City of London is the local government authority for the financial sector, the square mile. Totally confusing. The Lord Mayor is the Lord Mayor of the square mile. He is not the Lord Mayor for the whole of London. He is just the Mayor of London. Is this confusing? Yes. This is English history at its most irritating. So we at the Barbican are owned by the City of London, the small bit. Small, but rich. Now, who pays for its costs now? Well, about 40% of the direct annual costs come from the city. I should say that when they were asked to build the Barbican, and they said, what will it cost us, the city, to run? They were told, don't worry, in 5 years it will be earning so much from bars, catering, car parks, and all commercial activity that will pay for the arts programme. 30 years on, they are still paying for the arts programme. And that is unfortunately a terribly important lesson about how art centres work. It doesn't make them a bad thing. One just has to be realistic about what the income is. And this means that the city makes an annual subvention of some £20 million, current and capital, each year to the Barbican. There's no support from the government, from the Mayor for London, nor from the main national arts funding body, which is the Arts Council for England. This is a very peculiar funding arrangement. That doesn't mean to say that it doesn't have certain advantages. or that lessons can't be learned from it. Now, so those are the sort of experiences on which I'll base my observations. And of course, this is where the questions start for you. The first question has always been, why should anybody want an art centre? Why should any city want one? Why should a region want one? And to go back to the Barbican and the City of London, to begin with, they didn't want an art centre at all. All they wanted to do was to rebuild a very large part of the very centre of London, which had been destroyed in the Nazi Blitz of 1941. And this large area had been left empty and deserted for more than 2 decades. So the city wanted to also to repopulate the area, which of course was very busy by night with stockbrokers, bankers, insurers, whoever it was, but was by day, but it was a ghost city by night because no one lived there. And during the planning of this large housing development, which was how it began, just a housing development, it was suggested that some modest community arts facilities should be included in the housing scheme. But one thing led to another, and the City of London was persuaded that as one of the great financial centres of the world, they should build and own and pay for a truly international art centre. So what drove them to make this crazy decision? Prestige and reputation. Over the last dozen years, I spent a lot of my time persuading the city fathers that funding a world-class arts centre had to be an integral part of the way the city, presented themselves to the outside world. There are, after all, many financial centres throughout the world, almost all of them in competition with the City of London. How many of them support the arts significantly? Does Wall Street support an arts centre? I think not. So the Barbican makes the City of London distinctive. It also has a big impact on the fabric of life. It provides a differentiated urban scene. Instead of huge tower blocks of glass and steel, purely devoted to banking, dealing, insurance, investment, the whole townscape of the City of London, the street scene, the living environment has been diversified, humanised and softened by the presence of the arts. The city is a more pleasant place to live in. It's a more pleasant world to work in. I've never claimed that all these results are the direct consequence of the existence of the Barbican, but I am very sure, and I believe that the City of London knows this too, that the overall experience of living, working, or passing through the city is immeasurably different and more pleasant because of the existence of a major arts presence among the banks and offices. So if you ask the City of London Corporation, the city's governing body, why they fund the Barbican and the arts, they would say, I'm pretty sure,